everyone, welcome to All About the Joy. This is the private lounge. We have Mario back in the house. Hey, Mario.
Hey.
Cynthia's here. Hello, Cynthia. Rick Costa, blessings. How you doing? And our guest today, I'm so excited, is Dr. Dashia. Did I say your name right?
Dashia?
It's Dashia.
Dashia. I'm sorry. See, I've been saying I do this every time with all our guests. I just am horrible. I am so sorry, but it is such a pleasure to finally get to meet you. I always like to tell people how we connected. And we were both in a grant making funding thingamajig. I don't even know what the right thing to call it, but I made a huge mistake. Everybody in our audience knows, because that day that I decided to quit, I came out on the live show and I'm like, I had to quit the grant making. I was so upset. But what was beautiful about the process, and I'm so grateful to you, is when I decided to leave, I left a note on the bulletin board. Is that what it is? The bulletin board, to let everyone know that I was walking away and that I wished everyone well or whatever. And you were one of the first people who reached out to me, and you were so comforting. You were so kind. And now I realize that's your whole brand. Like,
that's who I
you
am.
empower people. You are someone who is so passionate about help lifting people up. So welcome to the show. And I just want to say I'm so grateful to meet you. I'm so excited.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. Yeah, when I saw your note, I was like, oh my God, I know that must have been difficult to do, but so brave. And I admire that a lot. It's so brave, to walk authentically in where you are in life. And so I had to reach out.
Can you tell us a little bit? I mean, your story is amazing, and all of them are going to ask you questions after I get off my little, beginning thing of like gushing and loving and whatever. But can you give us a little bit about your story that is so powerful? The whole 72 and your PhDs. Can you just give us the little synopsis of that?
Sure. So I am just a regular girl from the city of Miami. I grew up in the project, only child. Well, so I thought until I was 32.
Been there. Welcome to the party.
We've been there. Welcome.
Yeah. Raised by my grandmother, because the crack epidemic, the AIDS epidemic had really kind of overtaken my mom, and I was raised by my grandma. And when my grandmother passed, I ended up in foster care. Navigated through 72 foster homes until I got out on my own. At 18 with my two children.
Can I interrupt you there for a moment? Because I just want to express, as someone who's also experienced a tiny bit of what you went through, someone going through 72 foster homes as a child, that is, first of all, it's not normal for any child to go through foster care, number one. But 72, I want to just throw that out there to make sure the emphasis on that.
Yeah, 72 homes is a lot. I must say I ran away from some of those homes because you could just feel the vibes from the moment you walk in, like, yeah, I'm not going to be here long. I'm going to school and I'm never coming back.
Right.
And some of them were like that. And some of them I felt like I had to escape, from those homes, because there were things that happened to me in foster care that never happened in my home.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. I feel like honestly, the most trauma probably happened in foster care. And sometimes, that's how it ends up being, especially when you go through so many homes. But I didn't know I went through that many homes until I aged out.
Right.
And I went and I got my blue jacket. It's what they called it, your file. And I saw, it's like having an outer body experience, reading about the life that you lived. Yeah. And I'm from someone else's perspective, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm reading about my life from multiple people's perspective, and it was interesting. I learned a lot about myself at that time, and I've just been on this journey to heal, and not just heal me, but to help other women who have gone through even just a snippet of the things that I've gone through. So that's my goal.
And I swear I'm gonna stop talking. Like, I almost wanted you all not to come on the show so I know I am though. I'm gonna be really good because you're all here. You were all supposed to tell me we can't make it so I can just be with her by myself. That was
I can leave. I can always leave.
no. I just want to just one more thing though. So here's the thing though. You went through all that and you have 2 PhDs. You don't just have one. And it's so important. And this is what I'm going to say is the last part. And I'm going to let my people do their thing. Is just this. I don't want to get upset or sad or whatever, but we always hear about the tragic, horrible, sad stories of people who don't. That's what you see in the movies. You see all the bad things. We don't hear about all the wonderful people who make it through and excel anyways. And I feel like part of what I learned about you and just reading all about you on your website is we don't lift up enough people who make it through and then become so successful. So I'm just so grateful to meet you. All right, go ahead, everybody.
Okay, I got to chime in on top of that. For most people in America who don't have PhDs, only 3% of Black women in the United States only have one PhD. But so can we just applaud you for having multiple PhDs? And on top of that, your undergrad plus your master's degrees. And I heard that you said if they would have kept paying, you would have got a law degree. Is that right?
I would have kept going. Yes.
I know that's right. So what I'm saying to you is that you are truly an overcomer in every facet of the word. You are dynamic. You are phenomenal. You are chef's kiss. God bless you. You're amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Receive it. Take it in.
I do. I received that. And that's something that I'm working on. I really am intentionally working on receiving love, receiving attention and praise. Like that has been a struggle for me, honestly. And so I'm really doing my best to like really receive it and live in that moment. Because that has been really hard. That's been a thing for me.
Yeah. I think that's hard for a lot of people in general. We're not used to taking compliments and good things happening to us because the world we live in is just, just a tailspin. But, especially someone who's been in the foster system and 72 of them at that, it's like you see the good and you see the bad. And it's so hard to take any type of compliment. So,
yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's hard. I didn't realize it. I think I began to realize it in my previous marriage, where it's like, oh, you don't ever trust that people really love you. Like you don't trust that people mean what they say when they compliment you or when and you don't see yourself how other people see you. Because I was in this business and I would walk into certain rooms and people would be like, oh my God, can I take a picture with you? And I'd be like, what's wrong with y'all? Like, I'm just me, right? And I didn't understand that. And it took someone to tell me that. She's like, it offended me that you didn't realize who you were. And I was like, oh.
Yep, well, I agree. I agree with I love on women who are so brilliant and amazing. Y'all saw me with the other interviews we had, and I'm inspired by you. And I would get offended if you tried to push it away, but you didn't. You're taking it in as best you can. I got you. But you are. It's so nice to meet people that, and I say this respectfully. Most people don't impress me that much. They just don't.
Excuse you. Excuse you.
I didn't say you, Mario.
Okay, but I'm just making sure you ain't talking about me. I just got to make sure we clear the air.
But I think it's pretty. I mean, we're gonna do the gushing for like another 5 minutes. We're gonna let Rick jump in on it, and then we're gonna ask you some questions about what you do.
Okay.
Go ahead, Rick.
So after watching many YouTube videos of yours and many thread videos of yours and Instagram videos of yours, I'm like, you know what? This is the classic example of you cannot keep a good woman down. You might knock me down, but I ain't staying down. You always get up no matter what. And you have been through it. What? I'm like, no, what? That happened to you? And that happened to you? I'm like, oh my God. But you get up every single time. And that alone is enough to make me say, wow, like you are amazing.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Were you expecting all that?
Yeah, I was not. I didn't know what to expect, but I definitely was not expecting that. And if I could blush, I'd be super blush.
You blushing? We blush. It's just a little darker, but we blush. It's there. Them cheeks is beaming.
I really appreciate that though, and I am taking it in. Because it's those things that, like, on those days when you don't have, and I teach this to people, it's so crazy because I teach this to people, and when I always tell them I'm teaching you, but I'm really talking to me. Like on those days, I have this jar here that's called that says count your blessings, and I just put sticky notes in it every day, something that I'm grateful for, or I'm proud of myself for, or something, because you don't feel like that every day, right? And when people do give me compliments or say I've helped them in any way, I screenshot it, I put it in a little folder, because on those days when I'm not feeling like Dashia and I'm not feeling like I am who I am, I use those things to remind me so that I don't go too deep into that. And I'm able to use, the great things that other people have said to help pull myself out of it when I don't have it in me to pull myself out of it. So thank you guys. I appreciate that.
You're the quintessential example of I can show you better than I can tell you.
That's kind of sort of my motto.
Yeah.
That's what those 2 PhDs are about.
Right.
They weren't for me. And I tell people all the time, like, because I have 7 college degrees, right? And people ask, why you got so many degrees? You got 2 bachelors, 2 masters, a specialist, 2 PhDs. And I'm like, you know what? For one, I'm really good at school. Because I like learning. It was the one thing that my grandmother, when I was 6, my grandmother bought me an encyclopedia set. Or you were going to learn if you didn't do anything else. She didn't care what was going on. The little man would come to the house every month and bring another encyclopedia and get his payment. And it was like the insurance people. Like, it was a faithful plan. And I had to read a certain number of pages every day and write a certain number of things every day. I was in the spelling bees. And like, the one thing my grandmother said to me, she said, there's a lot going on around you. I know you've seen a lot. But if you could just finish school, you can make it out of here. And so that's the thing I held on to, because I did really well in school. I always excelled. And school was kind of easy for me, but it was an escape for me as well. It was that place I knew that I was good at. I didn't second guess myself in that area. And so I just did it. But when it came to my college degrees, it was like, you guys already created this whole narrative, a story, what my life is going to be. Right. So I'm going to show you.
I'm going to show you the difference.
I'm going to show you better than I can tell you. And so they weren't really about me. None of those degrees were about me. It was about saying, hey, see my worth, see my value, see, that I am a good person, a person, worthy of love. It really wasn't about me.
Well, when did you decide, or when did you know that you talk a lot about purpose. When did you start that focus? Was there a light bulb moment, or was it something gradual?
It was, I remember it so clearly. I think I was like 29 and I was a principal. I was the youngest principal in my county.
Wow. Of course you were. It's kind of what I'm about. Of course you were.
Yeah. I was the youngest teacher, in the state. I think I started teaching, like full-fledged teaching, with my certification at 18, because I did dual enrollment in high school, and I had a bachelor's, and so I was teaching, and it was like around 29. I was probably in my 2nd or 3rd year being a principal, and I just did not feel fulfilled. I was not happy. I had 3 kids. I was in the process of adopting my former foster sister's daughter. And so, and having my first grandchild at 29.
Wow.
And so I was not happy. I did not feel happy. I didn't feel fulfilled. It's like what looked like success to everybody else and what I should have been feeling. I think I was engaged at the time. I just didn't feel happy. And I was like, it has to be more to life than just this. Like, I'm still financially struggling. You know, I got a nice car, I got a nice house, but like nobody ever taught me financial literacy. So at that point, I'm still making crazy money decisions.
Right.
So I'm stressed out about that. And then my oldest daughter was like, it was a lot happening. And I just said, God, you know, something gotta happen. And I don't mean to get religious, but that's where I had to go I had to figure it out.
You don't have to apologize for going religious. We have a pastor in the house over there. We have a pastor in the house over there, so don't worry.
And I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness, and so it's weird because I was like, I had already made the decision. Oh, I'm not going to heaven. They talking about 144,000. I do too many bad things. I'm never gonna make it. I'm never gonna make it. So I have written it off.
Well, nobody's gonna make it.
I have written it off, but you know, when you go through foster care, you go to a lot of different churches. You experience whatever they believe in. That's where you're going. And so I experienced religion on almost every level. Almost every level. And I'm grateful though for that, because then I was able to make a decision for me, not just what someone else believed. And now I grew up that way, and that's what it is. And so I just went to my creator and say, you know, I this not working. I don't know what's happening, but I don't feel like how I think I'm supposed to feel. I'm not feeling it. I just remember like just starting to, I've always journaled. Journal was my way, you know. As an only child, you ain't really got much. You got a pen and the paper, and you know, that's what you do. And teddy bears. And so I journaled. And I just remember journaling and asking questions and writing answers and not feeling like those answers were my answers. They were definitely my questions, but not feeling like those were my answers. And it took me down this really long journey. And at the end of it, during the journey, I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew I was just trying to write my way out of wherever I was. And at the end of it, when I looked back and I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm doing something that I'm supposed to be doing. I left the school board. People thought I was crazy. Like, you're going to leave a for sure job and start a nonprofit and you're going to write grants and do this. And I'm like, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is what I'm going to do. And they're like, you're crazy. And I'm like, well, you know, this is what I'm going to do. And the first grant I wrote, it was $700,000. And I wrote it sitting on my bed.
That's
and
amazing.
I'm like, yeah, this is what we're going to do.
Can you write a grant on me? I mean, you know, a brother need a, you know. But what they say, if you don't know, you put yourself around people who do, right? So we are formally introduced. So
Mario.
That's how you make the connection, though. That's what you got. Look, closed mouths don't get
networking right now.
That part.
But yeah, that's kind of how that purpose journey started.
And did that start then? She's on purpose, or that was the general idea?
So I just started really saying she's on purpose.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
It was like this thing that I would just say, and people would be, you know, just in regular conversation, I'd be like, yeah, because she's on purpose. That worked out because she's on purpose. And it just kind of stuck. And I think I officially made She's on Purpose like a business like 2017 or 16 or something like that.
Oh. I have a question. I know since you lost your grandmother at such an early age, I know what is your fondest memory of your grandmother? What do you remember? What sticks with you?
Oh wow. So my grandmother was super funny. So what I remember is every day coming home from school, my grandmother was like an avid card player. And
like Bidwiz, all that
spades and gin rummy. And she would be, I would come in the door from school and she would have the card, she would already be at the table with the card set up. She's like, sit down, we're playing gin rummy. And we would play gin rummy. And then every night at 7:00, we would watch Wheel of Fortune, and she would bet me a quarter who could solve the puzzle faster.
Oh, okay.
And so that was our thing. And I'm like, I'm gonna solve this. Like, she would always beat me. She would always beat me, but she still give me a little quarter here and there sometimes. And she felt bad for me. But yeah, it was, and I only beat her one time. Like, and I would guess, I would second guess myself and be like, did I really beat you or did you let me beat you? And she's like, no, you really did it that time. Like, but one time that I could count, but that was like our thing, you know. I was her oldest grandchild, so I'm the first grandchild. So that was really like our thing. Jim Rummy and Wheel of Fortune. Oh my God.
That's special. But see, and you also talked about her getting those encyclopedias. So listen,
I had an encyclopedia and I had a typewriter. Well, encyclopedia set and a typewriter. Nobody had typewriters back then. But well, none of the kids, you know, the adults were using the typewriters, but the kids, you're coming home in elementary school, and she's like, "Yep, read this many pages from the encyclopedia and the atlas, and I need you to type up this." And I'm like, "Wow, okay." Wow. So she was teaching me a whole bunch of skills all in one.
Yeah, that's exactly what you did.
Yeah,
pretty amazing. Go ahead, Cynthia.
So you said that you have 7 degrees. Could you tell us what each one is in?
Sure. So my first bachelor's is in elementary education with the ESOL endorsement. And not that I speak a lick of any other language, but that was the thing.
That was the thing.
And then I have a bachelor's in reading. I have a master's in reading, a master's in exceptional education. For students of varying exceptionalities. And then I have a specialist degree in varying exceptionalities. And then I have a PhD in educational leadership, and then with a specialization in special education. And then I have a PhD in organizational leadership with a specialization in nonprofits.
Come on now.
Amazing.
Yeah.
God, I feel so inspired, but also I'm like, I need to do some more stuff.
Like we gotta step it up a little bit.
Feel a little lazy.
I feel a little lazy, exactly.
You know what's weird is I don't really use any of those degrees right now.
But you
kind of I don't use them. I mean, I have the PhD. It helps, you know, especially on my books and things like that. But like actively working in the field of like,
not even using them.
Yeah, but it's kind of like, why do we learn math, right? It's not like we're all sitting there every day doing 5 + 5 = 10. But what we do learn is logic. And that's what I think people don't understand, that even though you're not working in the field that you specialized in, you learned a lot, and all those skills are coming through every day. And I have to say, I'm like, today, I must have said it 5 times. I'm like, I need to get home on time because I am interviewing a PhD person. This is a doctor. Okay, this is a real person. So it's working. It worked for me with all those degrees.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, no, we're not.
That was actually early.
I know.
What are you talking about? That made me early. I'm late.
He's
I'm always late.
So he was on it today. So
first of all, I need somebody to hurry up and make a movie about your life, because people need to understand
that part.
Wow. Get Angela Bassett.
And then after they do that, like really like analyze, like, wow, like Mario said, overcomer. But the question I have now too is, your life was so chaotic, you know, especially as a kid. And when you're a kid, you don't have control. Like, it just happens to you. What are you going to do? Do you feel like school, because it's structured, it's a safe place, ain't nobody going to do nothing to you there, hopefully, that happens in real life, do you feel like that helped you a lot as far as getting the great education that you had, and that it felt safe. So you felt like I'm good at this, and I'm going to really, really do good at this because this is a safe place. And you know what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm. I did. I felt like school really was that place, right? It was a place I knew I was guaranteed to get a meal.
Mm-hmm.
I was guaranteed to have people that like poured into me positively.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nobody was talking about what's picking at me, you know, at least not the teachers and things about my mom being on drugs or seeing my mom or where they saw her. Or, you know, I wasn't worried about that in that space. And then honestly, in elementary, I had this principal. Her name was Dr. Young. She's passed away. God rest her soul. But Dr. Young like really like took me under her wing. And she had, I remember she asked my grandmother, I was in the 5th grade. I was doing spelling bees. And they had me in the spelling bees at school. And then we had to go to like the regionals were at Barry University, which happened to be the college I ended up going to.
Wow.
And I won there. And then we went to Washington. And so she like, you know, took me under her wing and during that process. And she asked my grandmother, she's like, can she spend the summer with me? I remember in 5th grade. And she took me to her house for the summer. And it's the first time, like I had seen Out of the Projects before, but not like this. It was like a predominantly minority neighborhood, big houses. You know, I grew up in Miami, so this was like down south, like an hour away from us, which was like in our mind where the rich people live.
Where the rich people live.
And so I saw like homes, and I saw like people living in huge homes that looked like me, right? Nice neighborhoods. And she took me to all these things that summer, I remember. And that was the first time I remember saying, oh, I can have a different life. Like that gave me hope, that let me see something else different. And she really kind of kept me close, right? Even when she left the school and I went off to middle school, and we lost touch, of course, when I went off into foster care. But, you know, the world is it's so interesting because I ended up meeting her best friend's son, getting engaged to her best friend's son. And her best friend was a teacher. And I end up when I became a teacher, like maybe like 6 or 7 years into my career, I ended up being a teacher at the school where she was principal at.
Wow.
So she was my boss. She was my principal, and I was engaged to her best friend's son. And so it just bought everything full. And I talked to her, and I'm like, you don't even understand how so much of my success right now I owe you. Because she was really one of her and my 4th grade teacher were really the only people that kind of really took me under their wing to show me different things. But her, you know, more, because she took me for a whole summer, you know, and really like I saw, and I went to so many things that I had never seen before. She took me to a ballet. She took me to all types of things that I can never get out of my memory. But she was the one where I knew, like, okay, I can have a life outside of what I see day to day.
But when did you decide to write those books? Who are they for? And let's talk more about your business now. Let's talk about how your whole story has now brought us to the place where you are inspiring and helping others to be their best selves, you know?
Gotcha. So Girl, You're the Shit, you wouldn't be able to read that because it's not even out yet.
When is that coming out?
That Dave's guy moved so much, but it'll be out before the year is over.
Well, you know what? We're going to have to bring you back when that comes out so we can promote that book on that day. So so let's talk about your other book then. Is that available?
Yes. So I have, so Girl, You're the Shit is actually going to be my 8th, I think, published book.
Okay.
Come on,
So the first book that I actually wrote is called She's on Purpose. And it was really just like a guide, a kind of self-assessment to help women kind of figure out where they are in understanding their purpose.
Is that on, but that's on your website that you can.
Yeah, that one's on there.
Okay, so I'm not crazy, people. Okay,
you're not.
There is a book. Okay, because
girl, you're not. And the girl, you're the shit book, that's on there for pre-sale as well. So that's probably where you saw that at.
Great. So everyone should go on and purchase that. Yes. Okay.
Yes, and so everybody that actually purchases that book before it is officially published, they'll get a form. So their information, they'll get like a spot where they can put their name and their business or whatever, and it'll be published in the back of the book, so that people will be able. So it's kind of like free advertising for those people.
Well, and that's also at the website. Carmen, it's going to be Dr. Dr. I'm gonna mess up your name again.
It's okay.
You know why? Because I've been saying it in my head all this time because we've been talking for what, 2 months now, trying to get this together, right? And in my head, I'm like, Dashia.
well, because that's how my mother phonetically spelled it. So as a reading teacher, you're absolutely right.
Thank you so much. But it's DRDASHIA.com. Let me do it again for the audio. DRDASHIA.com. So please go and visit that website. She has free downloads that are really helpful. I did one of them. Look so yeah, visit the website. Please purchase the pre-order book, right? And we're going to have you back for that as well. Okay. Let's talk about the business part of this.
So She's on Purpose is about helping women, crush their limiting beliefs, uncover their purpose, and be able to live authentically in that purpose, whether it's building a life or a business, just in who they were authentically created to be. And so I help them through that in many ways. I have a community that She's on Purpose Academy, where they can flow through several courses that I've created about crushing your, working through and crushing your limiting beliefs. I have a research-based 6-pillar process that I've used for many years. I developed and researched with over 3,000 people across the U.S. to show its effectiveness in helping women really understand what their purpose is, and then how to begin to build from that. So we do that through the academy, through the published books that we have, and some one-on-one coaching. I try not to do as much one-on-one coaching anymore because it's very consuming, but through the coaching as well. But mainly right now, really through the book. The first book that I wrote was that She's on Purpose 1, which I tell people that's the worst book. Don't buy that. Don't buy that book. It was better done than perfect. And so it was done. But the next book was the meditation journal, really, because one of the things that I try to teach women is that, you can pray and pray and pray, but at some point you got to listen. Mm-hmm. You got to listen for the direction that you're asking for. You got to be able to, and then to write that down, right? Because we can't remember everything. And so I created that meditation journal to just kind of teach women to kind of take a pause and listen, and get quiet within yourself, and then be able to write down those things that you're hearing.
I think I did that on the website, right? That's one of the
meditation, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I put. That you have a free, I guess it's a sample PDF. That's the one I did. Yeah. Okay.
So did you stop and listen to yourself?
No, clearly not. I was doing research for my interview, but you're not doing this only for money. We need money to survive, but this is passion for you. This is in your heart. I can just see it in your writing. You
said something really interesting just now. Who pours into you? Mm-hmm.
Well, right now, my husband pours into me. Thank God for that. My kids are in not all of them. not the oldest one yet. She's not there yet. But my middle daughter she's always poured into me in ways that I didn't know that I needed. I felt like it was defiance but it really wasn't.
Mm.
She was the one who would say, like, at 9 or 10, she'd be like, I don't agree with that whole what happens in this house stays in this house. It's like, I don't agree with that.
At 9 or 10?
And yeah, she's like, if we need outside help, then we need to get outside help.
Oh, I love
like
that.
I don't agree with this whole thing. And she's always like, so she was pouring into me when I didn't know that I needed it. But now that she's almost 30, she is she's an amazing mother. She went to my alma mater, and she's like, I remember you used to bring us here when you were in college and used to bring us to class with you. And she's like, man, and now I'm here and I'm like bringing my daughters.
Wow.
And so that's pouring into me, because I had a lot of parenting guilt. And so now my kids are pouring into me. My community even pours back into me, because there are days I show up in my academy and I'm just like, listen, I need to hear, how am I supporting you? How am I helping? Because every day is not a great day.
No.
And I don't shy away from those feelings anymore, or those days anymore. And I don't just try to show up strong every day anymore, because I don't deserve that.
Do you realize people are your sandpaper? How people can just smooth out those rough edges. It sounds like that middle daughter was your sandpaper, because I know my daughter is my sandpaper. Baby, she roughs me up and she smooths those edges out, because because we can be challenging, but I see you completely.
Does your middle child, does she remind you of your grandmother? Is she more like your grandmother was?
No, she's not actually. She's so much more like quiet and reserved, and just like, she's not like my grandma. She doesn't remind me of anybody. She's just her. Yeah. It's so weird. She's always been like quiet. She dealt with some confidence issues because she had eczema growing up. And that kind of, messed with her confidence some. But man, when she got that thing back, she is just like, this is what I believe in, and this is who I am. And she's like, and I'll give you this one quick story. So she has daughters, 2 daughters from this guy that, of course, I did not like, because the parents never like the guys.
Never does.
and she, she was transitioning, and she was working and going to college and doing all these things. And I remember calling her one day, and she's like, I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, oh, I'm packing up the girls' stuff. They're about to go live with their dad. And I was like, what? Oh. And she's like, yeah. She's like, it's too much for me. I got a lot going on. I'm trying to go to school. I'm trying to, work. I got all these bills. I got all this stuff on my own, and he's not doing anything. So he's about to get his daughters. And I'm like, but you're the mom. You can't say, like, I put all of my beliefs and things. And she's like, Mama, I'm going to just tell you right now, I didn't make these kids by myself. I'm not raising them by myself. That's their father. I'm not giving them to a stranger. She's like, he needs to get them for like a year so I can get some stuff together. And then when they come back, I'll be better. And I'm like, she's like, I'm going to send them purpose. I can see them, but she understood that so clear. And for me, I thought that, like, I could never do that. Oh my God, how could you just she's like, I'm not giving my kids away, but they're just gonna go live with their dad. She's like, what's the difference? The weekend or a year? What's the difference? It's not a difference. And I'm like, wow. I thought that was so
brave.
Poor of her and brave of her, and just she stood in her own, and she's like, this is what I believe. Like, we have to do this together. And if I don't have the capacity to do it right now, then they're his responsibility too. And he can do it. And she didn't feel a way about it. She went to school. She worked 2 jobs. She finished that degree, and then she got him back, and she's like, okay, now we gonna I'm on school, and I was like, I couldn't even imagine.
I love it.
But she's always just been her own person, very like solid and strong in her beliefs. And even if she believes something today and next week she decides she doesn't believe in it, she'll tell you. She's like, yeah, I don't think like that anymore. She's like, I did last week and that was fine, but not anymore. So, I really appreciate that about her, because I never had the confidence to do that. I was very much a people pleaser. Very wishy-washy, like whatever you was, okay, that makes you happy, I'll do that. That makes you happy, I'll do that. And she's like, you ain't gonna like me. You gonna respect me though.
Hey.
That's great.
Okay, you've been a principal and an educator, and should we say coach? Is that right? Do you want to say coach? I don't know. Some people don't like the life coach thing and thing. I know. That's why I'm always
purpose ambassador.
Okay, nice. Thank you. Purpose ambassador. What's the biggest myth about leadership that you like to kind of tell people is true or not true? Like, what's the biggest myth?
Ooh, that the leader got it all figured out. They don't. They know just as much as the people they're leading, probably just a little bit more.
Just a little bit more, right? Everyone's faking it till they make it.
Everybody. I almost lost my job as a principal the first year I was a principal. I was almost fired. I was called down to the superintendent's office, and it was the scariest thing. And he's like, well, part of your job is making those teachers do their job.
Yep.
And I became principal of a school where I was teaching at. So I was teaching there for a while. So me and the teachers were friends, basically, like we're colleagues. And then I became principal. So now all of a sudden I have to switch that colleague hat to now I have to hold you accountable. And remember, I was a people pleaser.
Yeah.
And that was very hard for me to do. Oh, you don't have your lesson plans? Oh, okay, I'll give you another week. Knowing the district is saying, we need this by this day. So I'm late on my things, not because I don't have it together, but because I'm waiting on someone else, or I've given, and it was bad. It was, that first year was bad. And when that superintendent said, yeah, we're gonna you gonna take a leave for a little bit. And you need to figure out if this is really what you want to do, because if you're telling me you're not, and I was the one where I'm not going to throw my team under the bus, so I took all the blame, and that wasn't good. He's like, we did not, you weren't showing up this way during your training. You weren't showing up this way before when you were at another school. It's like now you're back at this. Like this is a whole other person I'm seeing, and it was because I didn't want to lose my friends. Right. I didn't want them to be mad at me or to think that I got too big and, that I big headed, and it was rough. And I had to go back to the school and tell them, like, first of all, I have 3 kids to feed. And yeah, we can't lose this job. No. So y'all gonna have to get y'all stuff together.
Right. But that's kind of the whole idea of like this. The leaders are, not everyone, but most leaders are faking it till they make it. I've worked with many clients who, I'm telling you right now, they don't know as much as they pretend to know.
You probably knew more than they did, Carmen.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like in general, it's just kind of that thing, right? That it was a great answer is all I'm trying to say. And I have some rapid fire questions. They're not really rapid fire, but what's a quote you live by?
Oh, speak what you seek until you see what you said.
Say it again, because that's at the bottom of your emails.
Yep. Speak what you seek until you see what you said.
And that's yours, right? That's right.
I live by that. Keep speaking it.
Do you want to explain it to people who maybe don't get it? It took me a moment. I read it and I was like, wait, ooh.
It's wrapped into the affirmation book I wrote. I really believe in affirmations. I really believe in speaking life into yourself. And I believe that you see things twice. You have to first see it in your mind first before you can materialize it in the real world. You see it in your mind with your belief. You got to believe that you know that you can have this thing or do this thing or be this thing, whatever it is. And you just keep saying it until it materializes.
I want $1 million. I see $1 million.
You just keep speaking it. And it's funny, like you ever thought about, it's like that theory. I forget what it's called now. It's crazy. Dang, I forget it. It's a 3-letter acronym, starts with an R. But you ever notice, like when you say you want something, all of a sudden you see it? Like you say, oh, I want this car. And then everywhere you go, you see this car.
Yeah, everybody has the same car.
It's your subconscious way of saying, I'm going to give you what you desire, but you got to really believe it and you got to really keep seeking it. And so that's, I really believe in
I love that quote. That's really good. And I love that it's yours, because I did a little Google search. I'm like, that's hers. Because you have it in quotes, but you don't have your name next to it. So I was like, but it's hers. Okay.
I thought that was a little too pretentious. So
I don't think it is at all. I don't think it is. I think you should put your name on it. I think you should. What's one thing you wish more women knew about themselves?
Oh, that they are the SHIT. They are. They don't need to go find it anywhere else. It's already in them.
What does that mean exactly? Can you give me some other words?
Sure. So, you know, SHIT is an acronym, right? It's it's self-sufficient, hardworking, innovative, and triumphant.
Come on now.
And I believe that all of us are that. All women are that. You know, we most of us love a man to do the man thing, but we are self-sufficient. We can do it if we need to.
I'm sorry, you said the man thing.
You know, I don't want to take out the trash. I don't want to pay off the bills if I don't want to do those things. Like, you know.
I understand. It was just funny.
but we can if we needed to. You know, and so I think that sometimes we look so much outside of ourselves for validation and for things. And if we just realize that we're already that, we don't need to look for it.
Can you say what the acronym means again? Because when you first said it, it cut out. That's why.
Sure. It's self-sufficient, hardworking, innovative, and triumphant.
That's brilliant. Okay.
So you guys are the shit, basically.
Basically. What's your superpower?
My listening skills, I think. I listen very well. And I didn't always have that. I feel like I can listen to and I can hear the things that people are not saying, and be able to speak to those things.
Ooh, like you're intuitive.
Very intuitive. Very much an empath. I can walk in a room and feel and see and I let that guide me. Even if I walk into a crowded room, I let that feeling guide me to who I speak to, and how. Right. I really think that's my superpower. I know that's my superpower.
What's one thing you're working on right now that lights you up?
Oh, so that book is one. Girl, you're SHIT. That is, it lights me up and it scares the heck out of me. And I say that because I've been writing this book / journal, because really it's not a book about my life. It's really a journal to help women be able to discover themselves again, empower themselves, and then heal. And so I've had to go through that journey as I write this book. And so it lights me up because all of the things that I'm getting through that healing process, because I'm on the last end of that, I'm loving who I'm discovering in myself. And so it really lights me up.
The way you just said it too, I don't know, like, right? It's like just the shine or something just came through when she said it that way. Do you guys have any more questions? Any last questions?
I was going to bring up a story that you told that it's not funny. Like in the situation wasn't funny, but in hindsight, I can see how somebody could think like it's a little bit funny. How your aunt came over and ate the food, and your mama went off on her and said, "You ate my baby's food."
And my mama was mad.
Okay, you have to tell us a story.
Loved you, rather. Your mama really loved you because she went off on her.
Yeah,
well, you have to tell everyone the story.
So my mom and my aunt were like really best friends, and I love my aunt to death. Like, But my aunt was, and I always tell people this, I've never seen a fat like crackhead ever. But my aunt was one. Like, it didn't matter how much drugs she was on, that lady did not lose weight. And she would tell me, she's like, I'm not spending my last $5 on crack. I'm gonna go get me some food. And so I heard this time my mom had bought, some things to make for me for breakfast the next day, a dozen of eggs. I remember it so clearly, it's crazy. I remember Garcia sausage, and they only came with like 8 in the box. And a half a loaf of bread. And I mean, a loaf of bread. And we got up that morning. I just remember hearing my mom like screaming, like, you ate my baby food. And da, 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 da. And I came downstairs, and my aunt had literally cooked 6 eggs out of the dozen, 4 of the sausages, and ate like a half a loaf of bread, like all by herself. Ooh. Oh my God. My mom was losing it. And so my mom is like tall and slim, and my aunt is like short and chubby. So total opposite. And my mom was like, she was losing her mind. She's, you're gonna go find my baby some food. You're gonna go get like, it was a full-blown argument. And I say it's funny because in hindsight, that's the day I found out that my mom had AIDS. Because my aunt got so mad that she blurted it out in the fight. But yeah, they were like, my mom had got so mad, she put a pot of boiling water on the stove. Like she was about to throw water on her. Like that's how mad she was about that food.
She should have made some grits. It would have really been on.
Listen, my mama was mad about that food. She was like, you're going to go find my baby some food. Like you're going to replace it. She was really upset. Yeah, I never seen her like that before. But it was funny.
You had some incredible women in your life. It sounds, I mean, I think there's the sad part of the story, but I think what makes you so resilient is that you tend to see joy, you see positivity, you see light, you see that other side of thing. And I think that's what you and I have in common, which is what I try to keep telling people. Like we can be in a bad situation. We can find ourselves in mistakes and errors and issues that maybe we don't want to be in, but can you find the light? Can you find a way to find joy and walk through it? And that's why I love what you're doing. And I'm just so glad you're here. Will you come back?
Thank you. Yes, of course I will. Thank you. If you guys have me back, I'll be back.
No, we're gonna have you back, Mario. Were you gonna have a question? I'm sorry. I saw you.
It's okay. No, I just wanted to say that, Carmen, I see a common thread between the two of you so much. You don't even understand the common thread that you and Carmen really have, and by you reaching out and touching her in that moment from that note, you don't even know. Carmen has a book herself. I don't know if you know that.
Wow, no, I don't know.
Okay,
yes. No, we need to say that.
Oh my God.
No, because you guys really need to connect outside of the show, because you guys are so you're just like this, believe it or not.
So what you're saying is this was purposeful.
It was divine. It was truly a divine intervention. You were meant to touch her, and you were meant to be on this show because you are bringing so much joy and light, like Carmen said, and uplifting to the show. And this show is called All About the Joy, and you are the perfect definition of what All About the Joy is. Truly,
it is truly like you like. We'll after the show. I'm only hesitant because this is about her. That's why I get. I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. I'm just so glad that you're here. I'm glad we got to meet. This is not the last time that you will be on the show for sure, but also in my life, whether you like it or not, I will be on purpose with you. Okay.
But Carmen, I am not like really coaching right now, but I would
I was messing with you.
Stay connected to you, because it seems like we are supposed to be connected. And one of the things I keep a puzzle piece, and that's really big for me, because you don't know who you're supposed to be connected to, right? And if you don't live authentically in your purpose and doing what you're supposed to do, think about a puzzle piece. It has 4 sides. There's things that's never going to be able to be complete because you won't play your part. You won't put your piece down. And so, I don't think that this was by accident. So I would love to stay connected, because Mario seems like he knows what he's talking about.
I really do. I don't have a PhD, but I do know what I'm talking about. Because I am intuitive. Now that I can say that I'm very intuitive. I've always been that, because you don't know my story. And if you knew my story, you know why I say what I say. And I believe that's supposed to happen. This was supposed to happen. This whole interaction was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
I'm grateful to have met you myself. And, God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you all for this. Thank you.
No, it was so much fun. And so inspiring. And I feel like we need to do another. I feel like we can do another show and just have a whole
this
other
needs to be a part
conversation.
2.
The beginning, yeah. But thank you for being here. Everyone, please go check out the website, Dr. Dashia, right? No,
Dashia.
Dashia.
I'm never gonna say it right. You know what? It's gonna take like.
It's okay. Think about day, like daylight, and then Sha.
Dashia. This is good, because
I think what's tripping her up is the I.
Right.
Saying it without the I in her name.
But you know what's so weird too? It's because I've been saying it this whole time that way. I am one of those people. I repeat, you know.
Yeah.
But go check out the website. We're so glad that you were here. Thank you for taking the time. And remember, everyone, at the end of the day, it really is all about the joy. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for stopping by. All About the Joy. Be better and stay beautiful, folks. Have a sweet day.